Hello, options traders, and welcome to the weekend update here for January 1st, 2024, and Happy New Year to everyone. So let's just take a look at current open positions. Then we'll kind of take a look at the market overall. But before I do either of these, I'm going to ask a favor. Those of you that are subscribers or have been subscribers to the alert service in the past, please go to the link down below. Look for the one that corresponds to you. Either you have subscribed to the service at some point in the past, or you've never subscribed to the service, but might have an interest in exploring it. What I'm looking to do is have people answer a brief survey about what you'd like to see in the service, or if you had subscribed, what you'd like to see differently in the service. And I'm looking at making some plans on that here that I hope to finalize over the next week. And then by the end of next weekend or early the following week, I'm going to be sending a little bonus gift to everyone that responds there, and possibly going to be changing a few things about the service a little bit. I'm not seeing dramatic changes needed at this point, but people have made some very good comments that I would like to address. So I'll be sharing the results of those surveys as well in a subsequent video. So again, please go down below and click the link that corresponds to you, and just answer a few brief questions for me if you would. So getting on with our current positions that we have open. Of course, the Google wheel trade continues to grind along, doing fine. No issues there. And then this condor, the all put condor, it started off as a condor and then it moved into a butterfly configuration. And you know, the market is working well with this particular trade. This constant uprip. We haven't had any upside risk on this trade. Of course, that's where some of the trades got into trouble in Q4. Is we were hitting areas that I was expecting to be resistant, so I was putting on some upside risk in an attempt to increase the profit in those trades, and the market just kept blowing through every one of them. So far, I've kept that upside risk off on these two newer trades that have been opened. And of course, that's working well for this one. I see no real changes that I'm expecting in this. Other than possibly rolling up the right wing here a little bit, or adding a small amount, a very small amount of upside risk that might, boost the profitability potential in this trade. I'll look at that as the market progresses, and also we're going to do a market review here momentarily, and we'll kind of take a look at the market there and see the expectations. This particular trade, again, it's quite a ways out expiration-wise, and similar thing, there have been no adjustments yet to this trade, but I might look at maybe rolling up the right wing, maybe adding in some sort of a call spread configuration to this, basically moving some of these calls out to this location. It wouldn't really increase our upside risk, but it would widen out our tent. So that's a possibility that I might look at on this one. And then this SPY trade. So one of the comments, which I can't disagree with, that a couple students have made is that some of the trades we were carrying too close to expiration, which I do not like to do, but I was attempting to battle them all the way up until the last minute, expecting some market pullback in some cases. And this trade kind of falls into that category. So my hope is that the market will kind of chop back and forth here over this next week. Maybe I'll even get an opportunity to roll this short put closer to maybe the current market here, pick up a little bit of additional premium in doing that. But this expires this coming, or actually it's, I guess, a little bit further out, about 2 weeks out, and I would like to have this thing closed maybe this week. I'm not expecting to probably get this thing to profitability, but I would like to reduce the loss in this a little bit. And this will be kind of one of those last, what I'll call carryover trades that had some upside risk on them when we did have the massive run up here going into Q4. So This is kind of the last remnant of what I'll call those problem children trades, if we will. So those are the current trades that are open at this point. Let's take a look at the market. So what the bars here, each bar, I'm looking right now at a weekly. You can see I'm looking at 3 years of a weekly bars. So each one of these bars represents a week. The reason I did this is I wanted to get these prior highs into the mix here. Of course, this is December 27th. From 2022, so almost a little over a year ago, we were at highs here right at the 4,800 mark. Now, I was expecting that we might actually roll over here when we hit this roughly 4,600 mark. We did chop sideways here for a while. Let me bring this back to a daily chart now that we kind of know that 4,800 is the all-time high. So let's look at 3 years in a daily bar. So I was expecting when we pulled up to this 4,600 that we might chop sideways a while, and we did. I was expecting actually maybe a little bit more of a pullback than what we got here. I was thinking that we might pull down into this 4,500 range and then probably rally up and break out. Well, we didn't really get much of a pullback. We just kind of broke out. And of course, when you get a breakout, those breakouts tend to get kind of aggressive, which again is what sort of caught us. Again, we saw that here. We ran up and then we chopped sideways in an area that I was expecting to chop sideways. Again, I was expecting a little pullback here, but we broke out. And then after the breakout, big gap up to our next resistance area, chop sideways a little bit. Usually, you tend to get a pullback in those areas before you break to new highs. We didn't, just simply broke to new highs, then came up to this next area, chopped sideways for a little bit. Again, was kind of expecting a little more of a pullback, didn't get it, just broke out, and then ran. So now we're up here again, just shy of these all new highs. So is history going to repeat itself? Again, we're talking all-time highs now. So might be a little more resistance up here at 4,800. And I would think normal technical analysis would be that you would likely get a pullback here into this 4,700, maybe even 4,600 range, and then a little bit of chop between 4,600, 4,800, and then eventually probably a breakout again. That's kind of how what I would expect to maybe happen at this point. The one little caveat in here is that usually going into the end of the year, you often have what is called the Santa Claus rally, and we definitely had that, and I think this whole structure here could be part of that Santa Claus rally. So, you know, I do think that we probably are a little overextended. Of course, I've thought that before a number of times here. But that's kind of my take on it. I'm comfortable expecting a little bit of a sideways chop, maybe a little bit of a pullback. Certainly probably to 4,700 would not be out of the norm. And again, maybe even 4,600. So that would kind of be my expectation market-wise. I do think that the market, of course, has been strong. I don't think an upside breakout is unrealistic at this point. But again, we have to keep in mind there's a couple things coming up here. One, we've got the whole debt ceiling argument coming up again in about 3 weeks, where our government has to, again, make some decisions about what they're going to do on our debt, what they're going to fund, etc. They just keep kicking this can down the road, where normally they make those votes. That vote is good for 1-2 years, somewhere in that general range. Recently, they've been kicking it down the road, 2 months, and then here we are again. So right, wrong, or otherwise, we're going to be facing that whole thing again. And then, of course, the various war situation, North Korea rattling some sabers, of course, the Israel-Hamas thing, just lots of different political unrest, if you will, that also can come into play here at any time. So far, the market has shaken all that off, but you just never really know how long that might last. So I want to be prepared in positions for pullback. And again, I'd love to see a little uptick in volatility. We did get a little bit of an uptick here back in this one pullback day right here. I'd like to see a little more volatility come in. The ideal situation in my mind would be that we would get that pullback to 4,700, maybe break this low. At that point, getting down here to 4650, we would definitely probably have an increase in volatility, which means an increase in premium that we can get when we're getting into butterflies or other trades like that. So that's what I would like to see as a trader here over the next couple months. Again, market doesn't care what I want to see. So, but my expectations are a general range, 4,800, 4,600. So that's it for now. Again, please remember, go down below, click the appropriate link for you. Either you've been a part of the service before at some point, and if you have, click that link because the questions are going to be a little bit different about what you saw when you were in the service. If you have not been in the alert service before, I would also love your input. So there's a separate link for people that have never been a part of the service. And I'd like to ask what they would like to see in an alert service so that I can hopefully design and provide the best educational content possible for people to follow along on. So thank you so much, everyone. I'll look forward to sharing those results with you here in the next 7 to 10 days. Take care.